श्रीमान् वेंकटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदांताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि सन्तः श्रीरङ्गपृथ्वीश चरणत्राणशेखराः जयन्ति भवनत्राण पदपङ्कजने नमः। सन्तः श्रीरङ्गपृथ्वीश चरणत्राणशेखराः जयन्ति भवनत्राण पदपङ्कजने नमः। भरताय परं नमोऽस्तु तस्मै प्रथमोदाहरणाय भक्तिभाजां यदुपज्ञमशेषतः पृथिव्यां प्रथितो राघव पादुका प्रभावक। भरताय परं नमोऽस्तु तस्मै प्रथमोदाहरणाय भक्तिभाजां यदुपज्ञमशेषतः पृथिव्यां प्रथितो राघव पादुका प्रभावक। The screen in which you are now seeing on the monitor. So we have a book, as you see in the list of the creations of Sri Swami Vedantadeshika, is Sankalpa Suryodaya. So as I told you earlier in one of the sessions, that the great poet Kalidasa became very confident of his work. And just like Sri Harsha, a great poet of a great epic in Sanskrit called Naishadha Mahakavyam, we have an adage about it, a proverb about it, Naishadham Vidvad Aushadham. Naishadha Mahakavya, the great epic, is a medicine to the scholars. It is sugar-coated bitter pill. So in order to understand the deeper meanings of Sri Harsha's words, one has to have very perfect knowledge of Sanskrit. So he said, no rogue should play with my book. Ma khalaha khelatu. Look at the very wording. Ma khalaha khelatu. No rogue, that means who claims that he has got sufficient Sanskrit knowledge to understand my work, should not play with me. That means should not take my work very easy and try to understand without the help of dictionary or Amarakosha, the dictionary of synonyms. So in the same way, Vedantadeshika gained confidence by the blessings of the sandals of divine sandals of Ranganatha, and he said, Vimshatyabde adhita vidyaha. He said it in Sankalpa Suryodaya. Namely, at the age of 20, I have completed the study of all that need to be studied. So such a great confidence that the great poet had, and this philosopher has produced a lot of books on philosophy. And each one is a nectar to our ears. We say in Tamil, Orandrutane amayado dharanil வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப்பழம் போமளம் வாழ். Even a single work is sufficient enough to elevate us to the great status of what you call a permanent scholar in the headquarters of Lord Sriman Narayana, namely Sri Vaikuntham, Paramapadam. Dharanil, when we live in this world, வாழ்வார்க்கு, when we are happy in this world, வானேரப்பழம் வாழ். This is a statement about Sri Vedantadeshika's greatness of even a single work. So we will now go to the Paddhati number 1, which is called the Prastava Paddhati. Initially, in the first verse of Prastava Paddhati, the introductory chapter in Sri Padukasahasram, Sri Vedantadeshika feels that all the priests in the temple, Bhattacharyaha, otherwise simply called Archakaha, in the temple are fortunate, very lucky enough to have the Shatari, the Shatajiti, Shatakopa, otherwise called the Paduka, on their heads to wear first when they enter into the temple, and when they go out of the temple, they will have the paduka to adorn their head. And therefore, even the dust, the pollen dust of the lotus flower, namely the divine feet of Lord Sri Ranganatha, will be able to protect the entire universe. That's what we saw in the first verse. Today in this session, we consolidate all the meaning of the Prastava Paddhati, and being the penultimate session, I would say, I would like to go fast then, whereas the organizers of the Zoom meeting are addressing the devotees at the end of this session. Then we saw that Bha being Bhava, Ra being Raga, and Ta being Tala. Vedantadeshika salutes the author of Natya Shastra, Bharata Muni, as well as Sriman Nathamuni of the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. Therefore, because of the peculiar, the best character in the conscious incarnation, Panchajanyam, namely Bharata, as the next brother of Lord Sri Rama, he made the Paduka popular by keeping these divine sandals on the throne of Ayodhya kingdom, and he living as a sage in Nandigrama, a village. And you know how he was in tune with the thoughts of his elder brother. In verse number 3, Vedantadeshika salutes the preceptor, as we understand. First is Lord Sri Padukasahasram, second is Periya Pirati, otherwise called Goddess of Fortune. Then you have Thirumagalai Munnittu Emberumaan Thiruvadigal Adagindren. And the thirdly, Vishwaksena, the security staff, and the fourthly, Nammalvar. So Nammalvar, I told you, Bhaktamritam Vishwa Jananumodam, Sarvarthatam Sri Shatakopa Vangmayam, Sagastra Shakhopanishat Samagamam, Namamyaham Dravida Veda Sagara. In the same way, Vedantadeshika salutes that Nammalvar, as he is called, Dravida Veda Sagara, ocean of the Tamil scripture, Thiruvaimozhi. He saw with his very eyes the scriptures, especially Samaveda, and he composed and blessed us with 1,000 songs in the 4,000 Divya Prabandhas of the 12 apostles of Sri Vaishnava philosophy. And therefore, Vedantadeshika said, since I am fond of appreciating the divine sandals of Ranganatha, I first salute or appreciate Nammalvar in the third. Varnastomair bakula sumono vasana mudvahantim amnayanam prakatima param samhitam drishtavantam pade nitya pranihita dhiyam paduke rangabhattuhu Tvannamanam munimiha bhaje tvamaham stotrukamaha. An author of any work should always give his intention, what he is going to do, what is the content of the poem, what is the subject matter that he is going to write in the book, and so on. It is the customary on the great poets to salute the preceptors. Then he goes to the next preceptor, as we understand. He gives a lot of respect to the first poet, Adi Kavi, Valmiki, who wrote the first poetry, Adi Kavyam, namely Srimad Ramayanam. So he compares the Ramayana produced by sage Bhagavan Valmiki. We respect him as God. So Bhagavan Valmiki. So he said, the divine sandals came from the headquarters, namely Sri Vaikuntham, Paramavadam, to Srirangam, and therefore Valmiki also learning from the preceptor, namely the Lord Creator, Brahma, 100,000 of verses of Ramayana. He blessed us with 24,000 slokas of Srimad Ramayana here. So the reading of Ramayana, the recitation of Ramayana will ensure welfare of the whole world. And the divine sandal will be responsible to make the world good. Divyasthana tvamiva jagatim paduke gahamana padanyasam prathamanagha bharati yatra chakre. Saraswati blessed Valmiki, as all of us know. Bharati is the name, another name of Sanskrit language. All of you can understand. Yogakshemam sakala jagatam tvayadhinam sajanan vacham divyam dishatu vasudha shrotra janma munirme. I incidentally told you the very name of Ramayanam as Sitayaha Charitam Mahat. And Sita, as the daughter of the earth, becomes the sister of Valmiki, because Valmiki also was born from the earth, because he came out of the ant hill, Valmikam. And he happens to be called as the ear of the earth. E-A-R, ear of the earth. Karna. So Vasudha Shrotra Janma Munihi. So in the next verse also, Sri Vedantadeshika cannot control his temptation to worship Valmiki again. Nichepi hantamamodhani nirvishesham tungepi annivishate nigamottamange prachetasa prabhutapih prathamopagitam soshyami rangapati padukayor yugam tat. Since Valmiki started to sing the praise of Lord Rama and all the incidents of Ramayana, he happened to be the contemporary of Rama, and he could witness all the incidents directly. And after going to the temple of Sri Rangam, Vedantadeshika felt, even though he is a little man, his head also is adorned by the Shatai, the priest there. And therefore, I have to worship Valmiki, from the Ramayana of which I have quoted so many incidents in this Padukasahasram, being the greatness of the Paduka. So, Dhatte Mukundamani Padukayor Niveshat Valmika Sambhava Gira Samatam Mamukti Ganga Prabhaka Padisasya Kiya Nivasyat Rakshodakasya Yamuna Salilat Visheshaha. Vedantadeshika said in the earlier verse that he is a small man, insignificant man, VIP, very insignificant man, person. So here, because he said he is appreciating the divine sandals of Sri Ranganatha of Sri Rangam, his words have become equal in quality with the Valmiki Bhagavan, the sage. And he compares himself as with the road water of the rain. When it mixes with the beautiful holy river Yamuna, namely the words of Valmiki in Ramayana, as also the Ganges, in the Triveni Sangamam of Allahabad, we call it Prayaga, where all waters, when they become one, there is everything, every water becomes holy. So my words also will become holy. Now, he just shows a little diffidence with the fear to compose 1,008 songs in a competitive spirit with Avige Manavala Perumal Nayanar in Srirangam. Vijñāpayāmi kimapi pratipanna bhītihi prāge varangapati vibhrama paduke tvam Vyantum Chama Sadasati Vigatabhya Suyaha Santas Prashantu Sadayai Dayai Stutim Te. Now he requests all the readers of Sri Padukasahasram to feel no jealousy. He didn't want them to have envy over the greatness of the author. And though he has a little fear, So let all good people, great scholars in Sanskrit, to feel the Padukasahasram and bless me with their good hearts. So now he also again makes a self-abnegation. Naichanusandhanam he does. Ashraddhadhanamapi nanmadhuna swakiye stotre niyojayasi mam manipaduke tvam devah pramanamika rangapatishtataatve tasyaiva devi padapankajayor yathatvam. He just says it as an aspect of modesty, humility. Lord Ranganatha knows my disinterestedness in composing Padukasahasram. But still, as the divine sandals made a decree that I must compose Sri Padukasahasram, you also know that I am not much interested. But you have, both of you have made me take great interest in composing Padukasahasram. That is because the lotus divine feet of Ranganatha, and as you are attached to the divine feet as the divine sandals of Ranganatha. Shuta prajna sampanmahita mahimanah kati kati tuvanti tvam santas shruti kuhara kanduhara giraha ahantvalpastadvadyadhiha bahujalpami tadapi tadayattam rangakshiti ramana padavani viduhu. It may be true that many poets have adored the divine sandals, which are very sweet to hear. I am a little person, but I also prattle many things. So say something unconnected, but they will understand that it is, if they are good words, it is because of the power of the divine sandals of Ranganatha. Yadeshastau tvam trigocharanattraini tato mahimnah kahanistav mamatu sampannirvadhihi shunalidha kamam bhavatu surasindhur bhagavati tadesha kim bhuta satusapati santa parahitaha. There was a priest called Parashara Bhatta, very much devoted to Sri Ranganatha, and he was talking to Ranganatha physically with him. I told you in the course of these sessions that today we recapitulate all the thoughts in this Prastava Paddhati, and he lowered himself, Vedantadeshika lowered himself as in the status of a dog which licks to satisfy its thirst, the Ganges water. So it gets satisfied by drinking the water of the Ganges. But because the dog touched with its tongue the Ganges water remains still holy, even if the dog does. In the same way, my appreciation of the divine sandals of Ranganatha will not do any harm to the greatness of the divine sandals. And because it is in all places, in all times, the divine sandals are responsible for the entire welfare of the universe. Mita prekshalabha Kshanaparinamat panchashapada maduktistvai yesha magita kaviramram bhavishai nakasyayam hasya haricharana dhatri kshitidale muhurvatyadhute mukhapavana visphoditamiva. Though I am saying just a few words, 5 or 6 words, do you mean 5 or 6 words or 1,000 songs, 8 songs of Sri Padukasahasram? Just because I had a momentary glimpse over the divine sandals when I visited the shrine, the sanctum sanctorum of Sri Ranganatha, my words should always become as equal to the great poet's words. Don't you think that what I am doing is laughable? Have I become the laughing stock? Because as I am like a man trying to blow air from the mouth, as though it is equal to a storm which uproots the trees and mountains. Nissandeha nijapakarša vishayotkarshopi harshodaya pratyudha krama bhakti vaibhava bhavatvayyatyavacalitaha rangadhija padatra varnana kritarambhai nikumbhai ginam narmaswadrishu venkateshwara kavir nasiramadidati. Now he mentions his name as Venkateshwara Kavi as a third person, and he said, the subject matter is noble, my Padukasahasram is sublime, and that is because of my devotion to the divine sandals. So I have been made eloquent by the grace of the divine sandals, and therefore my fame has spread as Venkateshwara Kavi. So now he requests the divine sandals to pour her blessings copiously on his mind. Rangakshma patiratnapadu bhavatim tushtushato me javajyam bhantam bhavadiya sinjita sudha sandoha sandehadaha lagha gurnita chandrasekhara yata janghala ganga payastrasadeja vishrinkhala prasaranotsiktaha swayam suktayaha. Since the divine sandals blessed Sri Vedantadeshika to compose the 1008 songs on Padukasahasram as Padukasahasram, it is like the flow of Ganges from the head of Lord Shiva, who wears the crescent moon on his head, as he nods his head in appreciation of the words dripping with honey by the jingling sound of the gems in the divine sandals of Ranganatha. So it should come very fast. As we know, the flow of words from the poet's mouth will be like a flood. Kimavannada setu madhya bhajam bharatabhyachita padukavatam saha atapodhana dharmata kavinam akhileshvasmi manoratheshva bhahyaka. From Kanyakumari to Kashmir, on all sides of the universe, as Bharata worshipped the divine sandals on the throne, I have, without any difficulty, very easily, I cross over the difficulty and I am easily composing the Padukasahasram, and that is because of your blessings, and I have become as Lord Sri Ranganatha always awarded me the title Kavitarkika Simhaha, Vedantacharyaha, Sarvatantra Swatantraha as awards. Anidam Prathamasya Shabdarashe Rapadam Rangadhurina Paduke Twam Gatabhitirabitvan Vimohat Parihasena Vinodayami Natham. Now he has become confident. Vedantadeshika has become very confident that he could roll out the poem very easily from his mouth. And therefore he says he is entertaining the divine sandals of Ranganatha with the words not only of the scriptures in Sanskrit and also by the words of Sri. And now he has no fear. And by his attachment with the devotion toward the divine sandals, he is now capable of appreciating the divine sandals. No vrittibhir bhakuvidha virashrita Venkateshwara Kave Saraswati Adya Rangapati Ratna Paduke Nattaki Bhavati Nishevata. So he can compass that the words of Padukasahasram should become a danseuse, a female dancer, to serve the divine sandals of Ranganatha with the dancing tunes of these songs. And I have given the easy style, the hard style. Narikela Paka is hard style, Daksha Paka is the easy style. Some verses are easy to understand in Sanskrit, some are very difficult to understand. There are long compounds, and because of the blessing of the divine sandals that my words, Saraswati, the speech of Venkateshwara Kavi, has become fruitful. Apara karunam budestav khalu prasadadaham vidhatum abhishakniyam chatasagastrikam samhitam tathapi haripaduke tava gunaughaleshasthite udagritiriyam bhavediti mitapi yukta stutihi. He says, by the unlimited, the great ocean of the divine sandals of Ranganatha, I am able to create now the 1008 songs of Padukasahasram. But I am capable of, I threaten you, that 100,000 of verses can be composed by me very easily. But these 1008 songs are only a simple sample of one of the unlimited number of auspicious qualities of the divine sandals. And therefore, it is better that this is, I feel that this is sufficient to understand at least one of the qualities, auspicious qualities or characteristics of the divine sandals. Anukuta nijanadam sukti mapadayanti manasi vachasi tattvam savadhana mamasya nishamayeti yathaso nidraya duramukta parishati sagalakshmya paduke ranganatha. Now, the divine sandals are responsible for the sweetness of a musical sound of the Sri Padukasahasram. And she is composing this poem. And she must hear attentively in the mind and in all the sense organs. So we say we drink the honey of the poem through the ears. I told you in the yesterday's session. So you please be attentive, O divine sandals of Ranganatha. And another condition is there. You should not allow Sri Ranganatha to sleep on the snake bed. Nishamayeti yathaso nidraya duramukta parishati sagalakshmya paduke Ranganatha. You must make the divine couple, Sri Ranganatha and Sri Ranganayaka, also to listen attentively my Padukasahasram. And that is my condition, that is my request, that is my appeal, and so on. Now, the final verse of the Prastava Paddhati is like this. Tvai vigita stutiresha padarakshini bhavati Ranganatha pade taduparikita saparyanamatamime nakinam shirasi. Sarvadeva namaskaraha keshavam prati gacchati is a statement that all of us know. Akashat patitam toyam mitha gacchati sagaram, as the water falling from the sky will all go to the ocean. All God's salutations will go to Lord Keshava, Thirunarayana, otherwise called in the Archa form Sri Ranganatha, and therefore my worship by this Padukasahasram in 1000 songs, 1008 songs, will also be considered as salutation to all the gods. And just like the flowers offered to, or the basil leaves, Tirutturai in Tamil, Tulasi in Sanskrit, Brinda in another name, are offered to the divine sandals, they all fall on the heads of all the gods, as all gods come here, not often, daily, not frequently, all the time, they come and worship Sri Ranganatha. And therefore, all those offerings on the divine sandals will also get attached to the gods, and the gods also will be blessed. So with this these 20 verses, Vedantadeshika gives a very small introduction to the greatness of divine sandals sung in the whole of 1008 songs. Ramanuja Dayapatram Jnana Vairagya Bhushanam Srimad Venkatanathāryam Vande Vedantadeshikam. Following the footsteps of Sri Ramanujacharya, the preceptor that he did not meet, and also remembering his previous preceptors, Sriman Nathamuni and Yamunacharya, as Ramanujacharya remembers his preceptor Yamunacharya. Yamunarya Sudhambodim. This is the first verse beginning expression in the Vaikuntha Gadyam of Sri Ramanujacharya, in the prose work. And we understand the whole Guru Parampara is given in a nutshell. Lakshmi Natha Samarambham Nathaya Munamadhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So this is the beginning verse which we say. And we also say another prayer to Sri Ramanujacharya, because he considered the divine feet of Ranganatha as his important property, namely gold. Normally we consider gold as the wealth of a nation. The gold reserve will be the wealth of the nation, as all of us know. And therefore we say, Yo Nityam Achyuta Padambuja Yukma Rukma. The lotus-like divine feet of Achyuta, namely Sriman Narayana, he is considered as gold, Rukma, R-U-K-M-A. Yo Nityam Achyuta Padambuja Yukma Rukma Vyamohatas Taditarani Trinayamene. Ramanujacharya considered all other things as the simple, flimsy, worthless blade of grass, except the gold divine feet, beautifully looking like lotus. So he said, Yo Nityam Achyuta Padambuja Yugma Rukma Vyamohatas Taditarani Trinayamene Asmad Guror Bhagavatosya Dayeka Sindho Ramanujasya Charanam Sharanam Prapadye. As we say, the entire Guru Parampara, Ennuyir Tandalitavarai Sharanambukki Aanadeve, our Gurukkan Irevaninggi Pinnarulal Perumboodur Vandavalla, Periya Nambi Alavandar Manakal Nambi Nandari, அவர் கிடைத்த உய்யக்கொண்டார் நாதமுனி சட்டகோபன் சேனிநாதன் இன்னமத திருமகளை என்று இவரை முன்னிட்டு எம்பெருமான் திருவடிகள் அடைகின்றேன். Let me recite the last verse of Sri Padukasahasram. Jayati iti raja suktihi Jayati Mukundasya Padukayugali Tadubhayadhanastrivedi Avandhyayanto Jayanti Bhuvisantaha. We always recite the first one and the last one twice. Jayati iti raja suktihi Jayati Mukundasya Padukayugali Tadubhayadhanastrivedi Avandhyayanto Jayanti Bhuvisantaha. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunasaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. Over to the organizers of Vyoma Linguistics Lab Foundation, especially the leaders, Sri Venkatasubramanian Swami, Brahmashri Venkatasubramanian Swami, and my immediate helper, Lakshmanacharya, for their great help in carrying out their Zoom sessions through their auspicious. It has become auspicious also, auspicious and auspicious. And let us all enjoy the consolidation of these two chapters again and again. And when we hear from any mouth, we continue to meditate upon the subject matter again and again. And we will get new meanings, which even earlier people may not identify. and therefore let us all continue to study the Padukasahasram without any interruption by the blessings of the divine sandals of Sri Ranganath. Dhanyavadaha. I think I have not exceeded anything. You wanted wanted to stop here at 7:15. There's still a lot of time to.
Yes,
I'm highly beholden to the organizers of Vyoma's Linguistics Lab Foundation, especially these two personalities, and also some assistants who created this what you call PPT, PowerPoint presentation. And now I used to say in English, when there is no power, there is no point in presentation. Therefore, I must also be thankful to the internet providers and also the best guidance given by Lakshmanacharya Mahodaya here. He is available on the Zoom. We are very grateful. All of us must emulate these examples and follow. There are so many subjects and topics dealt with by the Vyoma Linguistics Lab Foundation, Bangalore, and they are doing human service to the entire universe. So all of us must be thankful, and it's all given free. And that was the greatest surprise that I have with Vyoma, and they have a good office where many staff members are very devoted to their service. So thank you very much. Dhanyavadaha.